Good morning! It's time for a spoiler-filled vlog for House of Flame and Shadow. I did decide later on in the vlog to make it a spoiler-filled one, so I might be a little vague on some details first. I decided to be spoiler-free, and then I was like, no, let's just go full spoiler. I want to talk about this book. All right, let's get right into the vlog. I hope you enjoy.
I can't believe I'm holding this after seeing this cover so many times. I'm shaking, I'm sweating. Okay, I need to finish this tonight. Let's put that there. Also, I've got to say, this is my second time reading this, and there are so many big things. There's so many details in here that I've completely forgotten. I only read this a year ago. Was it a year ago? I read this last January. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna finish this. Does anyone else feel like this? I have been waiting so long for this to come out. And of course I want to read it, but at the same time, it's the last one for a while. And when I finished Throne of Glass, I was depressed for like an entire day after that. I just don't want it to be over right now. It's such a weird mix between I want to fly through this, but I also want to read like maybe a chapter a day. I'm just gonna go with the flow. I'm not gonna force myself to finish this in like a week or however long. When I started the channel, I was just worried that reading would kind of feel like a hassle. I never wanted reading to be stressful because it has been my favorite thing for the past almost 3 years now. Long story short, I'm just gonna take my time reading this, and I'm not gonna force myself to read it really, really fast just so I can get a video out. It'll go up when it goes up. I've been waiting all day for this, and I'm finally like at the point today where I can just do nothing and read. I'm gonna start this. All right, I will see you guys soon. All right, I'm making coffee. Update. So far, House of Flame and Shadow. Holy POVs, dude. Oh my god. I only got up to chapter 3. Like, I haven't started chapter 3 yet, and we've gotten 4 POVs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we've gotten 4 POVs in 3 chapters, basically. I know a lot of people have an issue with that kind of stuff, but I actually like it. I remember when I first read, I don't know if it was a Sarah J. Maas book or another one, but I got really thrown off by multiple POVs, but I actually don't really mind it. I don't really mind it. I kind of prefer it. Okay, I need to actually start my coffee instead of just standing here and talking. I like seeing everybody's thoughts on the situation or whatever. Oh, another thing that I loved, we got a lore drop in another book. I'm like, okay, cool. We're learning more about the world and what happened. But then it came full circle and things started lining up. And I'm like, that's really cool. That's really cool. It was something that I'm sure some people have put together, but I didn't. Yeah, I love it when things just line up so beautifully like that. Look at this. Perfect. Oh, what else happened? It's kind of going how I expected. It's really good so far. Not much I could say. I've only read a prologue and 2 chapters, so I'm gonna read more tonight. I should only be streaming for 5 hours. 6 if Pal World keeps me on. But I want to get a lot of reading done tonight and editing. There's always so much to do now. Shit, I need to pay attention. All right. Anyways, yeah, I'm just really excited to get some more POVs from some different characters. It's the only update for now. I will check in once I'm further through the book. All right, I just got to part 2. Little refresher here of what just happened. The Dagland being the Asteri, I didn't call that. Gwydion being the Star Sword, though, called that. That was satisfying. Lots of just walking around tunnels, just looking at the art on the walls. I'm really surprised Cassie and Aris didn't go try to look for them, because they've been down there for a very long time. And I get why Bryce wouldn't want to trust them, because they're new people. She doesn't know if they would want to like work for the Asteri, whatever. But seeing her keep trying to get the upper hand on them was frustrating. And the 2 chapters of just straight lore drop from Celine, that was a lot to take in. I really wasn't expecting that. I don't know what I was expecting, but I don't think it was anything like that. But there's a little Throne of Glass reference in there that Celine was talking about. At least I think it was Throne of Glass. When she was talking about other Fae coming through a portal, they were all shapeshifters and they all had elemental magic. And with Ethan and the gang, they've been just trying to free Therian this entire time. And now Sigrid's decapitated, so that's fun. That can't be the end of her, though. She's way too important. Sarah's gonna pull some shit. She's gonna come back. Also, when Bryce, Nesta, and Azriel found the Asteri underground, Bryce had the upper hand. Why would she agree to let her out of that crystal coffin thing? That made no sense. And then she gets mad at Nesta for killing the Asteri? What? I don't know what Bryce's idea for like the long term was here. She killed it, now you know what to do. I'm a little torn in part 1 because I mean I like it. A lot has happened. I have a few big things have happened, but not a lot has happened in 200 pages. Actually almost 300. I've noticed that some characters will just have the same recurring thought, like Bryce's thoughts about not being able to trust these people from this world, or Hunt's being in the prison and he's like, I should have talked Bryce out of it. I shouldn't have let her go through with it. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. Like, yeah, okay, we get it. You regret some stuff. Yeah, okay, we get it, Bryce. You don't trust them. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I hope it gets better. I was sad to see Bryce leave the world already after not a lot of time with the characters I've missed so much. I mean, their world is pretty important in this entire story, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna see them again. And Reese is pretty important now, so Ness is important to this entire thing. I think the Illyrians in general are important. They have a connection to Rune. I think we'll see him again. Okay, I'm gonna get reading part 2. Hopefully I can finish that today. I want to get a big chunk of this book done today, so I will update you when I have an update. Dude, Sarah is so good at just getting Bryce's personality and sass across. She does it so well. So the Autumn King said, Ember loved me once upon a time. Only something enormous would have severed that love. And Bryce goes, like when you hit her, something enormous like that. She's so sassy. That's so good. Like, she does so well at just setting up the scene. I can see Bryce doing that. It's so funny. And then when the Autumn King says that, got Rune to give him a seed of his starlight, and she just says, gross, don't call it that. She just does a really good job at giving her character's personality. The way Hunt says, fuck you, to the hawk, and Lydia just goes, I couldn't have said it better myself, Athalar. And then puts a bullet right between his eyes. That was so badass. Well, it's out now. Everyone knows Lydia's a rebel. No hiding it anymore. Oh my god, my heart. Rune hearing Declan's voice coming through. Where the fuck is your hand? Officially over halfway through. Therian keeps getting himself into really deep shit. Now he's married. Hunt, you don't, I don't want to give relationship advice, but if you don't want to talk about something with your partner, you don't say, I don't want to talk about this, and just walk away. You don't do that. That made me roll my eyes. Something bothered me here in part 2. Bryce and Baxian are talking in the caves. She just keeps going off on the Fae, like, she doesn't want anything to do with them, doesn't even want to, like, help. And she says this line. Baxian says, so the Fae aren't inherently bad. She said, of course not. But most of the ones in this world, and Baxian says, you know every Fae on Midgard. And then she says, I can judge them by their collective actions. That's fucked up. That's just straight up racist. I don't like that. Bryce is, I don't really like her in this book. She's had a handful of good lines in here, but not really a fan anymore, honestly. Okay. there's my update. I'm gonna keep reading. Clearly there's something with Lydia and Fire. And maybe I'm reaching and I just want there to be all these crazy connections. But Lydia and Fire, she comes from a long line of stag shifters. Throne of Glass, Aelin, Fire, stags. I don't know. I like trying to find these little things. I need more. I was not expecting that. Okay, the Prime just offered Ethan to be his heir. I mean, I'm not really surprised. Ethan deserves it. Dude, Ethan's gonna go ham because he has, like, his full power. Yes, Sabine's gonna get it! She's gonna get it! Oh my god! Hell yeah, Ethan. That makes me happy. I really thought Sigrid was gonna be the one. Over 600 pages, and it was just trying to get Sigrid back to help the wolves, but it was Ethan all along. I mean, I'm not surprised. And I had a hunch anyways. He's a good guy, he's a good wolf, he's a good boy, one would say. I was right! I was right. That's so satisfying. All right, I had a few days to think about this, and I have some thoughts. So first things first, I made a mistake. Even after a few days of thinking about how I feel, it was still hard to come up with my own thoughts about it because I made the mistake of not unsubbing from the fantasy romance subreddit. So while I was reading it, I would see posts about people being disappointed in this book. I was thinking, okay, what are people so disappointed at? So I would be looking for those things. And then I also made a second mistake where there's a post about someone's thoughts from like chapter maybe like 1 to 30. I was past that, so I was like, okay, let's go see what people think about it so far. And I shouldn't have done that because again, the same thing happened, and all that was in my head was, okay, people don't like Bryce. Maybe I really don't like Bryce either. We'll get more into that later. So now I just had everyone else's opinions stuck in my head while I was reading. So I should have unsubbed from those subreddits, and I've learned my lesson. I will do that next time. But with that being said, I do still feel like this was one of Sarah's weaker books, and definitely, in my opinion, the weakest Crescent City book. All right, so let's get into a few things. I personally liked all the POVs. I am glad that we got to see a bunch of different storylines from them. There are still some unanswered questions, like Ethan and Perry. What's up with Tharian and Sathia? I want to know more about them. Ariadne, and I thought that we would get more answers about Fury. Also, Bryce's likability, very up and down. Out of all the Crescent City books, I definitely disliked her the most in here. She was so rude to Hunt about his feelings. At one point, she's straight up racist. That one actually had me closing the book, and I was in shock. This also made me want to reread Throne of Glass already, and I just finished it. But after rereading ACOTAR, I was able to retain more. So now I want to reread Throne of Glass, knowing what I know now in ACOTAR and Crescent City. I also did expect the ACOTAR world to be way more involved, because if you're gonna end House of Sky and Breath like that, you'd think that the ACOTAR characters would be more involved in here. So that did let me down at first, but then it got me thinking, this is a Crescent City book. It is not ACOTAR. So it made sense that we just got a little taste of the ACOTAR characters. About a day after reading this, I was kind of feeling like a 4-star. And for me, 4 stars is I really, really liked it. Not loved it, but I really liked it. And then when my boyfriend or Twitch chat would ask me how I liked it when I told him I finished it, all I could really find to say was, I liked it. It was good. With that being said, I will be bumping it down to a high 3 stars. I think the thing that seals the deal with bumping it under 4 stars is Hunt and Bryce, and they're not communicating. I really hate any miscommunication trope or just not communicating in general. Hunt didn't tell Bryce that Regalis took his lightning. Like, he even actively thought, I will not tell Bryce this. What's the point of that? It wasn't his fault.
And Bryce telling Hunt that his feelings don't matter because the entire world is at risk and everybody could die. And with her just being straight up racist at one point. That's what bumped it down for me. Oh my god. I will also say, I have such a soft spot in my heart for Lahaba. So when Bryce saw Danica in the pack with Lahaba on Danica's shoulder, I lost it. I was in tears. So there's my thoughts on this book. I'm sure I forgot about a lot of details that I wanted to talk about. I try to write down everything, but there's still those times in the day where I think about something and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna write that down. And then I forget to write it down. Even though this was not as good as the first two Crescent Cities, I still enjoyed myself. And I wanna know more about this universe. So please let me know down in the comments if you maybe caught anything that I didn't. Anyways, I did hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. It really does mean the world when anybody watches my videos or comments, because I wasn't expecting anyone to watch at all when I first started BookTube. So thank you, and I will see you in the next video.